Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Andy and you're watching the Opinionated Reefer YouTube channel. So it's been quite a while since I last did a tank update, and the reason for that is that I'm not really any further forward with the tank than I was in the last update. I believe the last update I was still dealing with dinoflagellates and I had been dosing Dino X. Well, the Dino X basically nuked the tank and it basically killed all the corals and reset the tank back to square one. I'm not too sure really what happened, whether I overdosed it or if that's just part of the course with that stuff, but either way, the tank just could not sustain corals after that. So this is the state of the tank about halfway through the initial Dino X treatment. Now it's cleared a lot of the dinos off the rocks, but there's still quite a lot remains in the sand at this point. Now you also notice that a lot of the corals are already starting to look dead or unhappy at this point. So what I ended up doing was I continued the treatment for a few more days, but I managed to save the remaining healthy corals by moving them back into the nano tank. So what we're looking at here is after the Dino X treatment is finished, I ended up running the Dino X for about another 5 days and I done a blackout during this time. So the tank is looking absolutely pristine at this point, but at the same time it is unable to sustain corals. Now what eventually happened was after this I got a massive cyano breakout, and rather than the whole tank being covered in dinos, it was covered in cyano. So that was another setback. So I ended up having to treat the cyano with red slime remover. That got rid of the cyano but caused this sort of outbreak of hair algae. Now this stuff was really tough to get rid of, and at the same time, as you can see there, any corals that I tried to put in the tank basically just died. Now I'm not sure what kind of algae this is, if it's ordinary hair algae or if it's Bryopsis, but it took over the tank within a matter of a week. So as you can see, I had just been yo-yoing from problem to problem. So this is the current state of the tank. Now finally the hair algae has started to die off a little bit. Now all these problems got me thinking, what's different about this setup than my previous setups that I never had to go through all these different stages of issues? And the difference was I started with mainly live rock in the previous setups, where this time I've started with pretty much all dry rock. So what I've ended up doing is I replaced some of the dry rock with some live rock. I bought about £100 worth of live rock, what you're looking at right here just now, and it does seem to have helped the tank a bit. Now when I was just using only the dry rock, my nitrates were really getting high, but since I've added the live rock they've came down a bit. Now it isn't proper old school live rock covered in hitchhikers, but it does appear to be bacterially live rock, so I'm pretty happy so far. And the main lesson learned is never start a tank with 100% dry rock or you're going to be waiting a long time. So just to give you an example, here is a previous tank that I started with mainly live rock and some real reef rock. Now with this tank I literally just Started the tank with mainly live rock and then hung some T5s over it, and within 3 months I was able to grow SPS corals. Now obviously I had to sort out my dosing and get my parameters stable, etc., but I never had to go through anywhere near as much hassle as I've had this time round. Now I really wish I hadn't shut this tank down and restarted it. So the main takeaway for this video is you can start your tank with dry rock and bottled bacteria, but it's never going to recreate the type of bacteria that you get from natural live rock that was sourced from the ocean. There's just something missing when you start with 100% dry rock, and all I can say is it's a lesson well learned. So I hope you found this informative, guys, and I'll keep you up to date with how the tank goes. Things are looking better, so I'm going to add some tester corals and see how they go. So I'll catch you in the next one, and adios.